I loved this film.
Ugh.
I loved the vulnerability.
Oh, thank you.
As someone who has gone through my own coming out process as a gay person in the world,
Congratulations.
it takes a lot of courage and of vulnerability. And if your vulnerability is not held, it leads you to shame. And I'm very grateful that I had beautiful people in my life that really held my vulnerability when I came out. And you wrote an email to Will.
Yeah.
Why the email?
It was during the pandemic, so there wasn't going to be a face-to-face. So I wrote that email, and as you might know and understand, I rewrote it, and I rewrote it, and I rewrote it, and I didn't send it, and I didn't send it, and finally I sent it, and it was just a way to let people know that I was going to be transitioning to my real self.
And it's such a private battle that we go through when we're getting to that place.
Yeah.
And we're trying to figure out, is it now the time? Is this a phase?
Oh,
What's
my
going to
goodness,
happen?
scary. Yeah.
And it's very lonely, right?
Yeah, and no, and I think to your point, when you put yourself out there like that, you don't necessarily want everyone to come and write you long letters back. You just want everyone to say very quickly, I see you, I love you, and that's what my buddy Will here did. And so, yeah, that's what you're hoping for.
Something that I thought was very touching was when you talked about not knowing what to say.
Yeah.
Even as close as we might be to certain people in our lives, there are still those moments when somebody comes forward that you're like, I don't really know what to say. And I don't want to say the wrong thing, but I don't know what to say.
And then, then that turns into paralysis, and nothing is said, and that's the worst. And so, yeah, that was part of the exercise for Harper to allow me to stumble my way through asking these questions that some of them I ask in the right way, some of them I don't. I'm not using the correct vernacular, et cetera, but she allows me to make these mistakes, and that, really helps me.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a great example for people that as long as your heart's in the right place or your intentionality behind it is pure, it's
100%.
Okay if you,
100%.
it's just about showing up.
Yeah.
And it's okay if you don't say the right thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And you go on this road trip.
Yeah.
All across the country.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
17 days.
Yeah.
16 days, 17 days. What a great way to get to know someone even more. It was a chance, as Harper states, she loves this country. And it was a chance for us to see if this country loves her back. And besides, selfishly, I hadn't driven across country.
Yeah.
That was the real reason.
That's the only reason.
That's the only reason I wanted to do it.
When you all first met on SNL, what was it about the other that was special and unique? What drew you to each other?
Will, and I say this with heart. He was kind of boring. He was kind of like stiff. No, but I mean like
scared.
He wasn't. Well, yeah, sure, but he wasn't trying to make everyone around him laugh. And I like that kind of like mystery and a little bit of subtleness. And when he performed on camera, it was immediate. It was like, oh, this person is safeguarding a part of themselves and using their talent the way it should be used. And there was no reason for him to try to make everyone laugh every day. And I respond to that really well. That's the kind of person. Tim Meadows, who is another friend of mine, is very much like that. Very much subdued in real life. Some might say boring. But then performing-wise, they just nail it.
And for you?
Harper and I shared this kind of. It's not that we didn't work hard at a place like Saturday Night Live. At the same time, we reminded ourselves constantly that we're on a comedy show. We should have fun. Let's have joy in what we do, and let's remind everyone else to not take it so seriously. Mm-hmm. And that was our bond. That still is our bond to this day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And dealing with these two, how'd you do it?
I just pointed cameras at him and tried to keep up. Harper, I asked her, can you set the course for this trip? This is something she's done for years and years of her life, and we just try to keep ahead, and it was just such a joy to be along for the ride and listening into their conversations that would go from incredibly funny to incredibly deep and then back all at once. And it was a real privilege to be along.
What was your big takeaway?
I think we all came back and felt like there's the resting place for human beings, as Harper said before, is kindness. And that's maybe our default. And if we can remember that we're more similar than we are different, and take the storytelling away from the politicians and the media who are trying to tell us something else, and listen to each other more, we'll all be better off. So that was certainly one of my big takeaways.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's a big deal.
And, I think my final point here, too, is to see you do things that were still very important to you in your life and activities.
Oh, absolutely.
That is such an important thing, too, because I think sometimes there's like this perception that when you come out, you're less than who you were.
Yeah.
But you're, in fact, more of who you
Oh,
were.
absolutely.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to live in San Francisco or LA or New York, all towns I love. I wanted to be able to go back to my home state of Iowa and be that person still, I wanted to be me in a place that I wasn't really felt comfortable being me. So I'm very happy to experience that.